Hi, YouTube. I thought I'd share with you who's influenced my journey in hypnosis and language so far. Let me just close this. There's been there's been a fair few people who have knowingly and unknowingly contributed to my experience so far, or the way I think about my experience anyway. This all started off by reading The Structure of Magic, Volume 1. That was the original book written on NLP. And that laid the foundation for me to develop my skills. So I read that book. Excuse me. I read that book. And then I went on to become a practitioner and a hypnotherapist. So during the time that in the lead up to doing the course, I researched several people, and I'd like to name a few of them because they've really had a pivotal role in my development. So, starting off with, I've read John Grinder's work. The Structure of Magic is John Grinder's work. Richard Bandler, I've read some of him as well. But sort of in the lead up to that, there's a few other people that I'd like to mention along the way. One of them is a gentleman by the name of Kenrick Cleveland. I've looked at some of his work online, and it's simply beautiful the way that he uses language so eloquently. And that was one of the big inspirations for me. Having obviously I can talk, I've been able to talk for many years, but it just brings a new dimension as to how you can use your language to create your experience and to create someone else's experience. That's a slightly misleading comment. How to influence how someone else creates their experience would be a more accurate description of that statement, because I don't actually create anyone else's experience but my own. So I can influence if someone will let me, for them to have an experience based on what I've got going on in myself, and to share that with them. And obviously it's a two-way street then, which sort of brings me to the next person. These are in no particular order, by the way. I thought about trying to do them in order a second ago, and then later. Yeah, two-way street of communication, which brings me to the two people that have had the biggest impact for me. And it's been a big lesson for me, being able to learn face to face, in the presence, in the actual physical, spiritual presence of another person. And the two people have been John Grinder, because I've been trained by him, and he's just amazing. We've had some very, very interesting exchanges between me and him. And he would taught the bulk of the NLP training that I've undertaken so far, and I will continue my NLP training with him and the NLP Academy in Croydon. And the other person who's taught me face to face, and he taught me the hypnosis course, has been a gentleman by the name of Michael Carroll, who is the head of the NLP Academy, and again, a very, very skilled individual indeed, a very special person in my heart as well. I've gone to places that I never thought I would have done, and I've been pushed in ways I never even imagined. in very, very respectful ways, but nonetheless, it's been very challenging studying, taking this path so far, and elevating my thinking, evolving how I think, rather than the thoughts I think, because I think it's a very important distinction. Because if your thoughts are worrying you, then change how you think about things. And that's something that I'm continuing to develop and learn and improve upon as time passes. I'm a work in progress myself. I'm not going to say I'm perfect, or I'm I've cracked it, because I haven't. And anybody that reckons they've cracked it is lying, because the whole point is that you don't crack it, so you keep trying, so you keep learning, and that's how you keep having fun. If you get to the place where there's nothing else to learn, then there's no point in experience, because you're not going to learn anything from it. So there. Now the other person, there's loads of people that have helped me either knowingly or unknowingly. The So there's, obviously there's been Kenrick Cleveland. I've watched some YouTube videos of him doing his stuff. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. John Grinder, obviously. I think with John, it's a case of he dresses it up so it sounds quite ordinary what he's doing, and it all sounds very technical and to the point, um, and it's just pure, beautiful ambiguity. But there's a lot of intention there, and I find it's just titillating to listen to him speak, even now on video. I've got some very, very vivid memories of the way he teaches, and it's incredible. I think Michael, when he taught me, he really came out of himself. It's a very raw, very raw spiritual experience that we experienced together, and it was a very, very bonding experience for the whole group in both courses that we taught. So it wasn't just the trainer themselves; it was everybody else that was there, they're studying, learning, developing together. So, and the other person that they'll continue to have. It's not a thing that's happened in the past. I'm continuing to grow from these experiences, because it doesn't stop. The other person that continues to have impact on my life is, an NLP trainer and coach called Jamie Smart. And yeah, again, the way, it comes down to me to the way they use their language. All these guys have got something very strong in common, and it's the way they use their tonality, the way they use their language, that really touches something very, very profoundly true within me. And it's just an amazing connection. I can really connect to what they're saying. And this fuels me to have that sort of impact when I'm speaking to people, when I'm influencing the way they see things. Because it takes a little bit of courage, a little bit of openness to get the door to your thinking open. And then the real fun begins, because then you can start to really understand how, the best way to think for you is, how the best way to perceive things are. And I'm just checking the time, because it's like 5:30 in the morning. Everyone's asleep again. It's taken me a little while to do this video tonight, because I've been relaxing. And there's someone else. There's other people too. I, yeah, I can't think of them at the moment, but yeah, I mean, they're the four that really stick out to me. Um, and yeah, it's just it's just about, I've picked something up from all of them. I'm still integrating the information I'm learning from all, not just the people, but the experiences, and more so from my experience, my own experience, my own thoughts of how the interaction, the exchange between us, even if it's just watching them on, on a video or whatever, that continues to sort of, in my unconscious mind, it continues processing, and I'm still coming up with new stuff today that I didn't even think of all the way back when I was just doing my NLP practitioner, all the way back when I was doing my NLP practitioner training. So when we're talking about hypnosis and hypnotic language in particular, I think it's a lot to do with the tone of your voice over over what you say, and it's that feeds back into. I mean, the root of it is really your intention, your mindset at the time, and I think the mindset to do any sort of real work in life is curiosity. To I think over all the tools that you've got at hand, curiosity is probably the strongest one. 'Cause curiosity can drive you to do anything you want. It's a sense of wonder. It's a sense of amazement. Um, and then obviously that can feed into your attention, your focus. But if you're forcing yourself to do something, then it's going to be more difficult, because you're going to be at that stage where you're straining to think. And I just find if I don't think, then it all comes much easier. What I mean by that is, I just I just flow. I just get into the groove of things, and just let the words come. And obviously, there's the structure to it that I'm using, but I'm not really thinking about, I'm going to use this particular pattern, then I'm going to put this next to it, then I'm going to think about this metaphor. Metaphors can come, sometimes I might think, I might use this, but I don't I don't put, it's not, it's just another way of speaking. It's just another way of speaking with a certain intention, with a certain outcome in mind, or just to, create something for someone else, create an experience for someone else, because that's what has, um, let's take hypnosis out of a therapeutic context for a minute, and just look at it as a fun tool to play with. You can do so much with it that I use it to not only um, do something nice for people, but entertain them. Do something that's going to blow their socks off. So if you see this video and you want me to create a video message for you, or even better, to have a hangout where we can do this live, I really want to do that. Just for the fun of doing it, just because it's going to be fun and it's going to be interesting for me. It's going to be challenging for me. I'm going to say to you what you want me to write to. So I'll give you an example. Um, my friend Carl, he's about to launch his own website as a coach. Um, and I can't remember what it's called. I think it's Authentica dot. Let's have a look. Authentica out dot no. I think he's Norwegian. I'm not sure. Yeah. Anyway, he's about to launch his own website, so I might as well do it now for him here. Let's open this up. Yeah, so it's Authentica, Autentica. Great guy. He's a great, great man. And yeah, I read through his. We had a conversation, and I'm sure he won't mind me divulging this information because it was a very, very fascinating conversation to be having. So we got into a conversation about what's the difference between poetry, like hypnotic poetry, and therapeutic hypnosis. That question had me quite panicked for a minute because I'm like, in my brain, I wasn't even prepared for that question. And I'm thinking, what is there and then I'm like, no, hang on, this is too much. Stop. Breathe. Okay. So, and then I was thinking, for me, there's no distinction between the two. You could apply anything that I write as therapeutic if it's said the right way. Excuse me. If it's said the right way. What I mean by that is, if you wanted to get someone, if you want to get someone into a happy mood, you could say things really like, you may be feeling a bit more relaxed by now. That's a very sort of light-hearted, funny. But if you wanted to put them into a really deep state, I would talk like this and just put them into that state. So, and it was a question that I just like, and I was thinking, oh, how am I going to answer this? Because and then I said to him, is there a line between them? And then I started thinking, I said to him, so a piece of art can soothe you, can't it? A piece of art can touch your soul. It can move you. A painting, a piece of music, a sunny day can change your mind. So where's the boundary between art and therapy? Because for me, it's a very, very blurry line, if there's a line at all. And after that conversation, or during that conversation, rather, I decided there's no boundary between, something that's artistic and creative and something that's therapeutic, because they it's food for the soul. It's a therapy. It's a soothing practice to be creative. And this is part of my journey personally in expressing this to you, that it is that I find this, and I wouldn't call this therapy. I would call this expression more than anything. And it helps you. If it helps you to get something, I get something out of it too, because I'm sharing what I do with you, and that's our communication. As I said, I can't wait to start doing these things live. Hit me up. I've got go to the my logo in the corner. Get to me on Google Plus. Send me a message. Put me in your circles, whatever. Yeah, so we can get this thing going two-way. Yeah, because I'm really, really keen to have some live interaction, so we can start to mess around with language and stuff. If you're a hypnotist or an NLP person, get in touch. I'd love to have 3, 4, 5, 10, 15 people in a hangout where we're all having fun and messing around with language patterns and talking about hypnosis and NLP. That's what the reality of this thing could be that we're doing right now. So don't forget, send me a message, okay? But anyway, Carl's website's beautiful, and um, I went I went to his bio page, and he'd said to me, "Yeah, I'm doing videos as well," and but yes, the words he used was straight talk, not poetry, and I thought that was that stuck out as that stood out, that those two words, and I thought, okay, so I don't know. He's a hypnotist. He trained on the same course I did for hypnosis, so he's very tuned in. Yeah, very tuned in. So I started to read his bio page, or his, you know, his mission statement. Let's put it. And I started to read it, and it was beautiful. It is beautiful. It's a beautiful piece of writing. And the last paragraph, he starts to talk about, you know, the soul, and breaking the ego, letting go of the ego, tuning into your real identity. Well, he talks about identity all the way through, to be fair. But in the last chapter and the last part, I think the last line is something like, "Don't let your body die with the music still playing inside." And I just had to, get back to him and say, "Look, yeah, I don't." And I'm like that. I said, "Yeah, I don't know. I think I didn't say this exact words to him, but this is the general sentiment of it. Was, that's not, real. That's not straight talk. That's poetry. What you've written, because all language is poetry. So whenever when you start looking at it like that way, the whole dimension of your language changes. I've been sort of unconsciously working up to this, through this point, all my life. I've always been an avid sort of writer, in various different incarnations. I mean that as a metaphor, not, through lifetimes and stuff. I mean this particular lifetime, I've always been a writer, and I've always been had a passion for expressing language. Um, but having the right tools to do the job has meant a great deal of difference to the way I do things. Um, so, Carl, I'm gonna do this for you, and then I'll post it so you can watch it. Is this going to be a bit long for you? Actually, you might not have time to watch it. I might do that on another video for him, because then he can watch it. So, yeah, I think I'll leave you with this one, guys. Perhaps, but excuse me. So, if you've got an idea that you'd like me to write some hypnosis for, send me a message or leave a comment somewhere for me. Excuse me, belly. Okay. Okay, guys. See you soon. Goodbye. Bye.